Morning, everybody. As Joyce said, I'm Nikola Juhasz. I am the Global Technical Director for Sustainability at Sun Chemical, and I'm very pleased to be here with you this morning to share some information about our recycle-friendly washable inks for plastic packaging. In today's session, we will be highlighting some key areas of this innovative development, how choices in ink selections can impact recyclability of the packaging eventually, and also impact towards lower carbon footprint of plastic packaging. We'll talk about ways that recycle-friendly inks were designed to be removed and separated from recoverable plastic substrates of various types, how these inks specifically can improve the recyclability of the packaging, and also allow industry certifications that are important for brand owners. The inks can also enable increases in both the quality and quantity of recycled plastic material and reduce wastewater contamination in recycling processes, so they are also beneficial for the environmental footprint of those recycling processes. But first, a few quick words of introduction about Sun Chemical. We are a very large, global, and long-established company with locations and operations worldwide. We also make significant investments towards innovation. And I'd like to draw your attention to that $100 million annual R&D investment, which is an important statistic on this slide. And more over time, that investment is increasingly dedicated to sustainability enabling technology development. So as mentioned, Sun Chemical is the global leader in supplying pigments, inks, coatings, and adhesives as integrated solutions for packaging. In addition to our ink and press room products, we also supply functional coatings that deliver barrier to various barrier properties, water, grease, moisture, oxygen, etc. And we also supply adhesives, both laminating and barrier adhesives. We also have color management technologies, and we are upstream integrated in pigments and resins. Now let's get into the sustainability discussion more specifically. It's not a surprise to anybody, I'm sure, that there are some very serious global environmental issues facing our world today. Waste is accumulating in our oceans and waterways, as well as in land. Natural resources are being depleted faster than they can be replenished, and ozone layer depletion and greenhouse gas emissions are contributing to climate change. These issues are the focus of increased global attention, and there have been some public reactions and consumer calls to action. So among these, especially packaging, and particularly plastic packaging, is under pressure to make some corrective changes. Leading NGOs like the World Wildlife Federation and the Ellen MacArthur Foundation have been calling for brand owners and retailers to make public commitments to change. And this has resulted in the establishment of various regional and global plastic pacts. These pacts, such as the European Plastic Pact and the US Plastic Pact, have very similar features and ambitious commitments to be delivered by 2025. So the features of these pacts include things like having all plastic packaging be 100% reusable, recyclable, or compostable in principle, then undertaking actions such that those packages are actually recycled or composted at least 50% by 2025, and that there's a certain amount of average recycled content or responsibly sourced bio-based content included in all plastic packaging. Moreover, many organizations and entities are also establishing carbon neutrality goals somewhere in the timeline of 2030 to 2050. So what's happening is that the packaging industry is shifting from the traditional linear to a circular economy. In the linear economy, which is stated as take, make, and dispose, virgin resources are used in a single application pass. By contrast, a circular economy seeks to close that loop. So rather than taking, making, and disposing, you make, you use, and you recycle materials in a closed loop. So this linear to circular economy shift is driving a lot of the packaging, and especially plastic packaging market sustainability activities today. So how do we, Sun Chemical, respond to these challenges? We are also supporting and enabling that journey through a multifaceted approach. And we look at that as how we enable or focus on our operations, that is decreasing the carbon footprint and overall environmental impact of our processes and facilities. What we're doing around products to bring enabling technologies to the market. And very importantly, we're very engaged in cross-industry collaborations towards sustainability. Now that industry collaboration pillar is really key. Sustainability, by its very nature, requires collaboration up, down, and across the entire packaging value chain. So Sun Chemical, as a raw material supplier, is involved with our raw material, our upstream supply chain in associations and consortiums to ensure that our value chain is as committed to sustainability as we are. We also work together with peer organizations in various international ink and coating associations to be sure that we are all aligned in terms of bringing sustainable solutions to the market. We then work with our direct customer base, the packaging converters, who are selling to the brands and retailers, then to the consumers, and ideally, the materials are coming back around to waste collectors, sorters, and recyclers to begin the chain again. Through interactions with recognized and reputable cross-industry associations, collaborations, and consortia, like the Association of Plastic Recyclers, for example, in the US, or the Sustainable Packaging Coalition. We also have contact with the entire value chain, and especially visibility to what is needed, whether it's from the brand owner point of view or a recycler point of view, so that we can anticipate and develop the products that are needed. So sustainability really requires collaboration through the entire packaging value chain, and that is critical to the success of any initiatives. So let's move on and talk about the product pillar in our three-pronged sustainability approach. And I'd like to introduce you to a framework that we use to organize and formulate our initiatives and roadmap. And that is the 5R framework. And those 5 R's to us are reuse, reduce, renew, recycle, and redesign, all of which are intended to enable a circular economy and lead to reductions in carbon footprint. So when we talk about sustainable products for plastic packaging, and especially for recyclability, reuse is, for example, incorporation of post-consumer recycled materials as replacement for some of our conventional binders. It can also be about formulating more resistant inks and protective coatings that enable reusable packaging so that you have more than one application cycle. Reduce is about reducing packaging weight, lightweighting activities, bringing barrier coating and adhesive technologies that can allow the elimination of protective film layers and thereby reduce packaging weight. It's also about reducing waste in converter facilities. We deliver multi-purpose ink technologies, multicolor, CMYK, extended color gamut printing, which can allow waste reductions associated with transitions and press up times and down times. And we're also looking at ways to reduce energy and or VOCs in our converter customer facilities. Renew is about designing a platform and various product families of inks, coatings, and adhesives that include a substantial amount of biorenewable raw materials as replacement for conventional petroleum-derived raw materials, which can lead to immediate reductions in carbon footprint. Recycle is about delivering products that enhance recyclability, and we'll talk about the washable ink technology in a moment. Also increasing the ability of packages to be repulped or composted. And then finally, redesign is about helping the market reimagine the basic structure of packages, whether that's going from plastic to paper or fiber-based packaging where that makes sense, going from mixed materials to monomaterials in order to enable greater recyclability, or going from laminated structures to monowebs, again, for reduction in packaging weight as well as ease of recyclability. Now, there are some contexts and considerations that have to be understood. Firstly, any assumptions that are made about one packaging type versus another or one technology versus another have to be validated through detailed life cycle analyses to ensure that the environmental impact and carbon footprint reductions that are assumed are actually delivered. Also, it's important to manage costs, and we try to design to cost neutrality to the extent possible, because at this stage, sustainable solutions do not command a premium in the market. There can be absolutely no compromise on the packaging application performance, especially when we're talking about sensitive applications or food applications. So there cannot be compromise on shelf life, safety, spoilage, or waste. And then we also have to follow very closely what's going on in the policy and legislative landscape, because that's what's going to dictate the viable solutions today and tomorrow. So, with all of that as backdrop, let's talk about the recycle-friendly washable ink solutions. If they are not designed or selected properly, there can be some challenges of inks in recycling processes. In the initial sortation process, if there is heavy carbon black or other heavy ink layers, that can interfere with near-IR detection of the underlying materials. Also, metallic inks can trip sensitive metal detectors in recycling processes. In terms of the recycling process itself, if inks are not designed properly, they can introduce color or chemical residues into the wash waters, which is obviously not desired. Similarly, color, chemical residues, volatiles, and or odor can be left behind in recycled plastic or paper. And even in advanced recycling processes, certain ink components can interfere with the catalysts in those processes or lead to yield losses. So the key here is to design and select those components properly for your packaging applications. In terms of the design, firstly, Clean and compliant formulations are a must, and that goes without saying. And it's especially true in a circular economy environment where those materials may be accumulating loop after loop over time. Chlorine and halogen are to be avoided. They are not good for recycling processes, as are heavy metals, CMR materials, substances of very high concern, or any persistent organic pollutants. The second point is that washability and de-inkability. This is about designing inks to be removable from plastic substrates in a controlled and complete manner that creates particles. You can see those particles suspended in the wash solution there, without bleeding and without staining. There are a number of industry guidelines and protocols that are available to help test the removability of inks. So for example, from the Association of Plastic Recyclers, they prescribe conditions to test and to mimic what happens in recycling processes. And then finally, thermal stability and compatibility with re-extrusion processes is also important in order to avoid odor, volatiles, or color in the plastic that's being recycled. So with all of that in mind, we developed recycle-friendly ink solutions for two initial applications: for crystallizable shrink sleeves for PET bottles and for polyolefin shrink collation films. And we are testing, and I'll show some additional structures in a moment, a wider range of applications. The inks have been designed to go through a caustic wash process, such as would be encountered in a recycling process, which includes some level of caustic, optionally with detergent, at elevated temperature and under agitation. And what is wanted, or what is desired, is to recover high quality premium plastic flake, like in the image on the top. And what is not wanted is any kind of bleed into that solution. You can see the discoloration both in the wash solution as well as color that's left on the plastic flake. So through proper design, washable inks can lead to higher quality and quantity of plastic flake being recovered. So in addition to those first two applications, we've also extended the de-inking concept to a wide range of film and rigid plastic packaging formats, including polyethylene, polypropylene, and polyester from both post-industrial and post-consumer streams. Now, the key to the washable inks versus conventional inks is that special ink formulation is required in order to produce that filterable, non-bleeding particles that we want in the caustic solution. So having resistant pigments and appropriately selected resins here is key. And the washable inks, again, they leave these particles suspended in solution that can be filtered off. So the residues can be completely removed from the recycling process, leaving clean plastic flake and clear wash solutions, which is desired by the recyclers. By contrast, the conventional inks would tend to bleed, dissolve into those caustic solutions, leaving behind color both in the wash and on the flake, and there's nothing that can be filtered off. So several generations of inks have been designed based on these principles for both the original PET and polyolefin rigids and film applications and beyond. All of the solutions are intended to be applied to the substrates without requiring primer, which is a unique and differentiated approach, and also provides an additional sustainability benefit because you're not introducing additional application weight. There are two generations of solvent-based inks that are available. The first generation is for gravure printing only and has been formally recognized by the APR. as being designed for recyclability. The second generation of solvent-based inks has been designed to also be flexo-capable. It's widely commercially available, has international regional compliances, and has been extended for a wide range of additional applications beyond PET. We've also got energy curable systems, including a flexo UV set of products, and a water-based family is in final commercial testing. So I hope I've convinced you that the proper choice of packaging inks is an important factor in the eventual recyclability of the plastic packaging. Recycle-friendly and recycle-enabling ink technologies are commercially available today, are being applied, and are in the market. Primer-free technology further provides a sustainability benefit by avoiding additional application weight of the primer. And extensions to a wide range of print technologies and packaging types is continuing today. So let's stay connected. First of all, I invite you to join us at our booth on the lower level at 10200, where we can talk more about the recycle-friendly washable inks that I've shown you today, as well as a wide range of additional sustainability-enabling technologies that Sun Chemical offers. And in addition, I invite you to follow us at #SunSustainability, where we have an ongoing discussion around various sustainability and sustainability-enabling topics. So thank you very much for your attention, and if there are any questions, I think we have some time for a few.